Hi, I'm your host Carlos, and this is the first video in a series intended to help you develop your understanding of the world and how it works. This series is designed to be like an encyclopedia of the liberal arts. Now, why would I call it such a boring sounding name? When you hear Encyclopedia of the Liberal Arts, you might think of a huge collection of dictionary-like books about subjects that unemployed college graduates majored in, and all in alphabetical order. Now, before you take offense, my own major is in the college liberal arts, but that's not what I mean here. Now, I got the idea for the name when I remembered a lecture from a Yale professor who described Dante's Divine Comedy as an encyclopedia because it was like a circle of knowledge. You start with a point of departure and you go all around the various disciplines until you end up right back where you started with a new perspective. Now, the liberal arts is a medieval term, and they were called liberal to distinguish them from the so-called mechanical arts. They were called liberal because the aim of these arts is to free us. They free us from being cogs in a machine and allow us to contemplate the great aims and theories. So, although this series is planned in a way that groups related ideas into different videos linearly, I want you to learn these concepts cyclically, taking what you learned and using it to create a new perspective on what you've learned before. My goal is to guide you through as many of these cycles as I can, each time giving you a new lens that you can call upon at any time to understand and create. At the very least, I hope that these videos can teach you how to guide yourself through these cycles of knowledge so that you can discover which lenses you like best. Keep in mind that I too am still cycling through new ideas, and it is very likely that, say, a year or two after a video, I will have a new lens and wish I would have said things differently. I am only in my 20s, so I'm pretty certain that my future self and your future self will call me an idiot. But I'll do my best to share with you the lenses I have now in hopes that you find them useful and continue to develop them yourself. So our point of departure is the inside of a cave. This cave is long and it goes into the face of a mountain. You, me, and some friends grew up in this cave, and we've been strapped to our chairs for as long as we can remember. Our heads are fixed so we can never turn all the way around. We are facing one of the cave walls, with the cave entrance far behind us. There is a small fire in the cave, somewhere behind us, that casts shadows onto the walls. We have seen all kinds of shadows on the wall we are facing, and we talk about them all the time, naming them, studying them, associating them with the sounds that echo through the cave as the shadows glide across the wall. Suddenly, you are released from your chair, and you are compelled to stand up and turn around. You are allowed to walk and face the fire, but you are dazed and in pain. You can make out some shapes and silhouettes, and a mysterious voice tells you that these are the objects that cast the shadows, and what you saw before were silly illusions. The voice tells you to look at these objects now that you are facing them, and compels you to identify them. But how could you? You've never seen these things in your life. The shadows on the wall are truer than what you are seeing now. So the voice compels you to look at the light of the fire itself, but it burns your eyes and you turn back around to the shadows that you know and hold to be clear. Some force then pulls you away, drags you through the path of the cave, and doesn't release you until you are outside and in the blinding sunlight. You can't make out a thing, and you are left there in pain. Very slowly, your eyes become more adjusted to the light, and you're able to look around. You see colorful birds and small creatures, and eventually, you can even look at the sun. At first, everything is so alien to you, but after some time you realize and accept that these things are truer than what you knew before. Consider for a moment how you would feel in this situation. Sure, at first maybe you would feel scornful that you were dragged through the rocks of the cave and into this painful light. You might even feel a bit nostalgic of the simple ignorance you had before when you compare it to the daunting reality that you face now. But humans are innately curious, and we yearn for the discovery and exploration of new things. I bet you'd be happy for the change, and pity me and the others who are still in the cave. Perhaps, if you go back in and tell us what you discovered, you'll be praised and honored as a hero. So you return to the cave to seek your friends, and as you make your way down the cave path, you're stumbling and bumping into things as your eyes have not yet adjusted to the darkness. And when you arrive back at your chair where our friends and I are discussing the shadows of the wall, we ask you to join in on our discussion of some particular shadows. But your vision is still dim, and your judgments of the shadows are inaccurate. So we laugh and mock you. You try to explain yourself. For example, that this shadow is not actually what a bird is, and we get sarcastic. Then, as this goes on, we get angry. And eventually, we plot to kill you. This has been an interpretation of the allegory of the cave from Book 7 of Plato's Republic. It is the story of Plato's teacher Socrates and all enlightened people who, upon discovering the light of reason, return to their peers only to become alienated, ostracized, and, in the case of Socrates, killed for it. The allegory compares the effect of education and the lack of it on our nature. Remember how when you were released from your chair and allowed to look into the light of the fire, how it was distressing, uncomfortable, and even painful. The discomfort turned you back around to the shadows that you knew. It was only after you were forced out of the cave and became adjusted to the light that you felt happy with the new reality. But we cannot simply force society into enlightenment. If you bluntly tell the cave dwellers they are wrong, you are faced with animosity, and they may become even more certain of their false understanding as they try to defend their perspective. All humans grow a culture of what Michael Ager called the number one mentality, where they and their perspectives are the best, and anything else is less than the best. One solution to this problem is called the Socratic method, where you gently guide the cave dwellers to detect errors in their own reasoning. You don't insult their understanding or demand that they watch a video, listen to a lecture, or read a book. You simply point their attention to the tricky questions, suggest possible alternatives, and allow them to believe that they found the correct conclusion themselves. We are all born in this cave. None of us chose to begin here. That's just how it is. And our outdated education systems and number one mentalities have developed our understandings of the shadows on this cave. The goal of this series is to bring your attention to certain questions and to suggest alternative perspectives on how we understand ourselves, others, and our environment. As we cycle through the various disciplines of the liberal arts, you decide which lenses you favor most. We'll return to these ideas in future cycles, but do leave comments, questions, and suggestions for topics that you are interested in. Thanks for watching.